Hello and welcome back to the Impossible Entrepreneur podcast. I'm architect Anna and I'm an entrepreneur on a mission to do the impossible. And this episode is about not shrinking your dream, but shrinking your timeline. And if you have listened to any episodes I've already talked on about the impossible framework, then you already kind of know where I'm going with this. But yes, you should absolutely never shrink your dream. Dream as big as possible. And if anyone tells you it's not feasible, ignore them. Ignore them. They might be coming from a good place, they might be coming from a bad place, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. It's your dream and you understand where you want to go. I mean, my dream is freaking ridiculous, and you don't see me stopping or listening to anyone that says it's not possible. I mean, when I was 17 years old, I came up with a 60-year plan to create human-made self-sustaining islands that combat overpopulation, rising sea level, lack of natural resources, and starvation. Okay? That's insane. That's insane. It's insane for a 17-year-old. I think at the time, a lot of people were like, she's young. She'll get over it. She'll realize it's not possible. Well, 16 years later, I'm still working on it. So I knew it was a really, really long vision. And I'm not saying I should shrink 60 years down because I think 60 years actually was the right calculation for what I was trying to achieve. But if you've got a really big goal and a part of you feels like it's not possible, a way that you can initiate ridiculous amounts of action is by actually reducing the timeline significantly. So if I were to reduce my timeline, let's say, to create these islands from 60 years down to, like, let's say 10 years from now, I would completely shift how I'm doing everything. Honestly, at the moment, I feel like I'm just kind of pacing myself with my 60-year timeline. I'm comfortable in my little 15-year phases, very chill. I know what I need to do at each phase, and it gives me a lot of space to learn and grow and adapt and change as necessary. But you can bet 100% that if I were to reduce that timeline, I would very much shift what I need to do to get to that goal faster. So if you think your goal's not possible, shrink the timeline on down and see just how much you shift action, because it will absolutely happen. Another thing is, like, let's say you want to become a millionaire. You could go on the show Who Wants to Become a Millionaire and hope that you get that far. I think some people do. I mean, yeah, of course, some people do. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a show. I don't know if the show's still going, though. Anyways, but if you want to do that, set yourself a timeline. And here's the thing, no matter what, everything takes longer than you think it will. Maybe not everything, but at least from like an entrepreneurial business perspective, it feels like everything you do takes way longer than you think it will. So if you set yourself like an 8-week target and you're like, okay, it's going to take 2 months. Yes, do everything you can to make it happen in 2 months, but also in the back of your mind, just be like, it might take 6 months. When I worked as an architect, we basically had like what should go into every budget for a project, contingencies, like if things go wrong. And honestly, I wouldn't say it's overly conservative to say like maybe 30% contingencies, because there are some architecture projects that were like completely over budget, like multiple times over budget. And that's not that uncommon. So, depending on the way that you work, set yourself a ridiculous timeline. Do everything you can to make it happen, but also give yourself a little bit of grace and don't be mad when it doesn't happen. I try and think of things in the sense of working hard, but also being kind to yourself in the process. And the way that I describe it is through compassionate discipline. So, yes, be disciplined, put in that consistency, do the work, try to make it happen. But also, if you know, like, you should know your limits and stop when needed. And then be kind to yourself if it doesn't happen. With the impossible framework, you are choosing a crazy goal and then you're multiplying it by 10, because you are going to be so much more creative and strategic to try to achieve that goal, because it's insane. But that also means because you've done all of that and you've put all of that energy into the process towards something that matters to you, you are very much more likely to get 10% of that goal as a minimum, which is awesome. So, like, when I started this whole process over 18 months ago, I knew like there was quite a lot of things that I wanted to achieve in a short period of time, but I also knew even if I got nowhere near achieving them, I would have set so many things in motion that eventually it'd be bound to happen. This season is all about turning the impossible into the inevitable, and I want you to be able to do the same for yourself. So, shorten the timeline, but also, like, don't be mad. Don't be upset at yourself if it doesn't happen. You have to assume it's not going to happen in some ways, but that kind of compartmentalize that in your head. Compartmentalize it a little bit. But yeah, that's absolutely the way that I think about it. And also, if you kind of think of it like delusional self-belief, like if you're trying to do something that no one has ever done before, yeah, it takes a certain amount of delusional self-belief that that's going to happen. And also, even if you're just trying to do something that no one in your circle has done before, maybe no one in your family or your friend group or anyone close to you has ever done before, it's still going to seem just as impossible as if no one had done it. Because anyone outside of that might just feel like a theoretical person who does things, but they're them and I'm me, right? So have delusional self belief, know that you can achieve it. Use AI to help you build that self belief if you need to, but also like visualization exercises, mindset work, close your gaps. Like you can absolutely get to where you want to go. I've been trying to do this a lot recently, looking at this year and all the things that I wanted to change and adapt. And I'm calling 2026 my bridge year. Where I am now is nowhere near what I want to be in 12 months. And I set myself pretty high targets, which are not specific in some cases. They're just kind of like vague images of where I want to be. But because I do that, I'm much more likely to push forward. I mean, I've achieved a decent amount in my early 30s. Like, I'm a qualified architect. I've been in dozens and dozens of films and movies, not always as an actor, but sometimes working in more like action or extras work. But I've had some fantastic experiences there. And I mean, if you looked into my memories, you'd be like, what is happening? She's on a spaceship. She's on a train. I'm so confused. Cool times, though. I've worked as a chief marketing officer, like the height of an entire profession, the head of marketing. And I started in a brand new profession that was emerging at the time that I was starting it and taught myself how to do it. So all of these things are individually challenging and hard, but are possible if you just put your mind to it. So, whatever you're trying to achieve, however difficult it might seem for you, just know that it is absolutely possible. If you want to change careers, if you want to start a business, if you want to make a certain amount per month, you can do it. You just need to unlock the parts yourself that don't believe it's possible. Like, I made my first 10K month recently, and that was awesome. And I was like, sweet, cool. And once you do that, it's kind of like, what's the next level? Because at the moment, making 100K a month sounds really hard. It sounds like really, really hard. But once you do that, you're like, okay, I can make 1 million a month. But when you're starting and you're like, I'm barely making 1,000 a month in my business, making 1 million a month is not the goal, right? Break it down incrementally, but still have the goal in mind, but also build build the steps to that goal, and then achieve them one by one, and knock down all of those limiting beliefs and things that are holding you back in the process. Let me refer to my notes. Oh, yeah. And also, it's great to think as big as possible, but the truth is, you're not going to know what is needed to achieve it, and that's a good thing. Because if you actually knew the extent of what was required to achieve your goal, I would guess that it would be so intimidating that you would probably just step away and not even begin. You would probably not even start it because you're like, no, I can't do any of that. That's okay. Who would expect you to? If you've never done something before, why would people expect that you would be able to do it? The best thing you can do is start. And I think the thing about reducing the timeline is it gives you urgency, and urgency equals action. And if you take action, you will build your confidence and you will learn how to do all the things that you didn't know you needed to learn how to do them. But you need to start somewhere. So, yes, if you knew everything that was involved with your goal from the very beginning, oh my goodness. For me, if I knew at 17 what was going to be required for my 60-year plan for creating self-sustaining human-made islands, and I still don't even know the full extent. I'm kind of aware of what's required, but even what I've already had to learn and overcome at this point, if I knew even just this and not even halfway there, I'm like a quarter, a quarter. If I knew that at the beginning, I'd be like, maybe I should just choose something easier. So don't overthink it. Dream as big as possible. Be like, yep, delusional self belief. I'm going to achieve that. But I need to break it down in milestones first, break it down step by step, plan it out, and then execute it as best you can. So it doesn't need to be a scary thing. I think it's good to believe in yourself, to think as big as possible, but then also compartmentalize. And if things don't go the way that you planned, which is usually the way, be okay with it. Like, find ways to shift your mindset towards more positive thinking. And I don't mean like toxic positivity. I mean, okay, that thing didn't work out. What can I learn from it? What will I not do again? What will I do next time? How can I make my strategy stronger? Great. That was a good thing because I learned things from it and I got something out of it. So rather than any negative, turn it into a positive. And again, reframing things in your own mind can be really helpful. And learning how to reframe for other people is great for sales as well. And if you don't know how to reframe something, put in some things that are really, really irritating you right now in your life and go into a chatbot and ask it to reframe them for you in a more positive direction. So put in your goal, put in the negative things that are happening, and then ask it to reframe them so that you can see how it's actually going to benefit you in a positive way. Every time something negative happens, there's a balance. There is going to be a positive outcome in one way or another, but again, it depends on what you look at. If you're only going to focus on the negative, that is all you will see. Whereas if you focus on the positive, not only will you see the positive, but that is where your energy will go. You will go in that direction and more good things will come towards you. I have faced lots of negative things, even in just the time that I have recorded this podcast. I don't mean today, but like since I started The Impossible Entrepreneur in October 2024, if you listen to the first 300 episodes, you'll know I had quite a lot of setbacks. Life punched me in the face multiple times in just that short period of time. Throughout my entire life, yeah, way more times. But through that, I've been able to eventually be more adaptable, to be more resilient, to learn how to take the benefit from each of these negative situations and leave with some amount of closure and composure so that I can move forward positively. I also, no matter what the situation, try to handle it with as much professionalism as possible. And I think this goes back to my days as an architect. It is a core criteria of being an architect is professionalism, and that's something that I never wanted to get rid of. So I think when you go into business, if you can work towards, avoiding pettiness, trying to think of people having their own struggles, their own difficulties, and if they're doing something that's negatively impacting you, it might have nothing to do with you. And how can you learn from the situation and then make sure it doesn't happen again or use it to benefit you in one way or the other? There is always a silver lining. So, yes, don't shrink the dream. Never shrink the dream. Plan it, strategize it, reduce the timeline to give you a little bit of urgency so that you start taking action rather than just planning and overthinking, and then go forth. Build the confidence, have delusional self belief, and know that you can do it. But again, you're going to have to plan it out and then just go. Just go. Just one step at a time. You will learn as you go. I think learning by doing is the best. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I tried to do an MBA. I did it online for 2 weeks. And then I was like, this whole thing is very theoretical and it is not practical in the sense that it's going to help me make money in my business. It's not going to help me have a better life right now. It's all super interesting, fascinating, but again, theoretical. So I knew that that was something that wasn't really going to help me, but kind of lost my train of thought there. But yeah, it can be something that, you take your lessons forward, you take them, you leave them, entirely up to you. I think unless you try, you don't know. So I could still have people telling me, oh, you should do an MBA, you should do an MBA. You'll learn so much about business. True, but also MBAs are, I mean, they're looking at traditional business models. We are completely shifting ages right now. I actually had a discussion today about AI first businesses. And yeah, I'm going to actually add it into this episode. Let's go. Let's ramble. I was talking about AI first businesses and in a community group, and we were discussing how are they even really real? Like the companies that say they're AI first of all, is that a good thing? Is that what we want? What does that even mean? If a human is still running a business, it's not obviously an AI running an entire business. It's a human who's then setting up a bunch of AIs? Is it a company that has lots and lots of humans or one human and then the rest of AIs? The way I see AI first is still human first, but I see it as like one person who manages a lot of systems in one way or another, or sets them up, or creates a type of business that no longer requires the workflows of the past because it can run in a certain way. And that's what I'm trying to create with my business. So, I mean, not my training business, but my tech startup that I'm bootstrapping. So yes, lots of different things. And Yes, urgency does equal action. And once you've got your goal and you've locked it in, again, use these tools, use anything I say as an option in this series. You can take it, you can leave it, but you can use AI to then turn it into something visual, whether that is a visualization exercise that you stand every day in the morning to build yourself up before you go about the day, or if that is a vision board that you use as your desktop background. There was someone in my community group who posted this really great prompt for creating a mood board with Claude from Anthropic, the chatbot, and it's created basically an entire website. So it asks you a series of questions and you answer them, and then it creates a fantastic website. So I did that this morning and it was awesome. It was really, really great. Like it kind of synthesized everything really well from like the emotional side, the goal side, holistically across both my business, finance, health, relationship, personal goals. And I think it took away a lot of the fear that I had about achieving some of the goals, because there is also a thing that is like fear of success. And you're like, why would someone have a fear of success? Because if you're a thinker, you can start to think about all the things that could go wrong once you do achieve that. Like, do more people hate you? Are more people attacking you? Have you exposed yourself to more risk? Like, there's lots of things that could go wrong. Like, the more you have, the more you can lose in that way. So it really helped with some of those things. So yes, once you've got your goal and you've got your timeline, make it real one way or the other. Like, take action, but also do what you can to make it real. So yes, use AI to help you in lots of different ways. But again, mindset shift, think strategically, and believe in yourself. And that's it. So in the next episode, we're going to be talking about making your goal non-negotiable and what that means. It might only be a sliver of your goal, but if it's non-negotiable and it's something you do consistently, that will compound and it will be beautiful. So I'll see you in the next episode.